Okay. Okie dokie. I will share screen. Okay. And then I'll have to minimize a little bit. Oh, she says trying to do that. I'm not able to do it. I'm going to close the door. Someone's just coming. You might want to restart the recording, to be fair. Do you want to stop and start again? Because that was just nonsense. Okay, so today we're going to talk about why the balance concept is better than others on the market. As much as I don't want to come across as we're better than everybody else, we actually are. What we offer is so far superior that we need to know this, own it, and be out telling people about it. For people who don't know who I am, she says, trying to make sure this moves. That's it. That's going to be in the background. Feel free to read it or screenshot it. Most of you know me by now. But I've been in Zinzino for over 3 years now. When I first started in the UK, it was quite baby steps and we didn't have all these tools that we've got. But now we're advancing. Now we're getting this message out. However, Zinzino has been around a long time. So this isn't a brand new concept. It's just we're really getting to grips with it and we're really confident about what we're giving people now. So I think we need to hold on to that. But this isn't about me. Well, but it isn't. So I'm going to move on. Okay, the supplement industry. So the fish oil industry is a £12 billion industry. The multivitamin industry, £25 billion industry. This is ridiculous how much money people spend. It is a confidence trick, the way they market it, especially when it's on the back of buses. They've got no real world health outcomes. They've got no real proof. They don't test and retest. They don't measure what they're doing. They are just relying on, oh, we think this works. Kate told me something earlier, which is interesting. She was chatting to someone who worked in the fish oil industry, the omega-3 industry, and they used to buy up out-of-date fish oil and out-of-date spirulina. And if you add that to a product, but if you've added another product, you can sell it. So it doesn't matter if it's out of date. The fish oil industry and the multivitamin industry are as corrupt as the pharmaceutical industry in some respects with their marketing, advertising and pushing. And we have to remember that. What we've got is very pure and very good. Fish oil doesn't work. Cochrane study 2018. It doesn't work. They proved it doesn't work. And when we say the fish oil industry doesn't work or fish oil doesn't work, it's the actual fish oil. So when the fish oil is bound with the polyphenols, yeah, that works. But what they've done is the fish oil has only been bound sometimes with vitamin E. It's just not in a delivery system and it's not synergistic. It's not in a way that we can absorb it and a way that it can get where it needs to get. Unfortunately, it is money motivated. Now, I don't know what I was thinking about this in the shower, but I was thinking about when people say how much money things cost or how expensive things are. And I felt like saying, well, you know, you could go to mustn't say a company. You could go to a shop and buy a supplement for £5, which people have said to me, well, I can get that for £5. I'm at the point now where I want to say to them, can you just give me £5 and I'll give you a pot of, I don't know, dirt, because that's how useful that's going to be to you. So although they think they're saving money, they may as well not buy it. And that's how bad it is, because the companies are money motivated. They are not motivated by our health. Some are, don't get me wrong, there are people out there really trying to work hard to make sure this is okay, but the majority aren't. We are one of the few that are working really hard to have bioavailable ingredients. And that's the thing we need to remember. And a lot of these supplement companies are owned by drug companies and they've got profit margins. They're pushing things, which is why we're in direct sales, because direct sales means you cut out those shops needing profit. You cut out that needing to put synthetics in to extend the shelf life. So the reason we're in direct sales, we must never be ashamed of direct sales or network marketing, because I know we have issues with that. The reason we've done it is to make sure we get the best product direct to people without needless people profiting, and provide partners who will be there for support, practitioners, partners, and a network of knowledge and availability of knowledge. That's why we do what we do. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So what is the balance concept? So the balance concept, take our test. Our scientific and confidential home health test. We need to remember it is confidential, double blind, anonymous. It's the foundation of personalized nutrition. Now, personalized nutrition is huge and it's just going to get bigger because people want to know, especially people who are already interested in supplementation. They want to know it's working. I mean, I did. I was taking fish oil, well, yeah, an omega-3 for ages. That wasn't working. I now know when it's working, when it's not working, and I can juggle about with things. This is the future. It's a personalized nutritional strategy. No, it doesn't cover everything, but these are our building blocks. These are our foundational pillars. It's like, let's get those right and start on that point to make our health better. And we need to make our health better. We really do. We really need to take control of this. Step 2, get your fatty acid profile. We know that the 11 essential fatty acids, we need every one of them, but we need them in balance. We need that cell membrane. I'm not going to go massively into this, but we need the cell membrane, we need the nutrients going in, we need the toxins going out. There's pretty much no point having anything, any supplement, anything, any organic food if you're not absorbing it. So we want to find out, okay, what are we absorbing? And then we move on to tailor your supplements. And from that, you might have someone who needs the Aquarex. You might have someone that needs the vegan oil. You might have someone that actually prefers the capsules. Well, do you know what? It's very difficult to prescribe the capsules because it's on weight and you're not quite sure. So the test and retest is great. Do you need 2 capsules a day? Do you need 2 one day, 3 one day, 2 one day? It's really a way of tailoring it and checking on it. And checking is working. I mean, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to know their money, their investment, as they say in the business world, they're getting a return on their investment. That's what we want. And then test again after 120 days. And we all know my story. Well, I didn't all know my story, but my story of going on the balance oil because my one got me in at 7.9 to 1. And I've been on that for 5 years and 30 years before that on different ones. And when I went on the balance oil, my test came back the same. And because Zinzino was so supportive, we got to the bottom of I'm missing a lipase, a digestive enzyme, and I need to make sure I get a really good linseed oil in me to balance everything out. And I also sometimes have to swap between oils, vegan, and the normal balance oil. Now that's just my body. I'm the bottom 3% of the world. You're likely not to come across that, but if you do, please feel free to come to me for that advice because I got it from Colin and Paul. And Orion, to be fair, he came in as well to say, right, I know this, I've seen this before. Otherwise, myself and my daughter would have been left flailing, whereas my son, he merrily can take it whenever he wants and however he wants, and he's beautifully in balance all the time. Not fair. Right, why is omega-3 important? Again, I'm going to skim this, but we do need to know the brain health option, the heart health, the joint health, the eye health, and the mood regulation. It is vital we get the omega-3 in, and the balance concept is about, are we getting it in? Are you getting the second test? Are you finding out if it's working? So the concept really is test, solution, retest. Many of our competitors do not do that. You get lots of tests. In fact, there was one, I saw it on Facebook yesterday. I have taken a screenshot. There's an omega-6-3 test. It's £400 and you get the results, but then you're left. And this is what I've seen with my research is that you're given a test and that's great, but no support really. You get a printout, but no solution. Or you get told to take this oil and again, you get no support and you get no testing. So you then have to go and pay a nutritionist to help you with all this. Whereas with Zinzino, you've got the whole package. So the balance concept is beautifully simple and brilliant and supportive, easy to do at home and accessible. Why wouldn't you do it? That's what I think. Why the balance oil? The balance oil, you've got your polyphenols, you've got the correct levels of omega-3, you've got your vitamin D3, a small amount, you've got your naturally sourced ingredients. We know it's all natural. Anything in the balance oil range with a plus, all natural. You do have your vitamin E in there, but it's not only your vitamin E. And the dosage is by weight and height. As I said, the ascent is slightly trickier, but I used to always wonder why a 7-foot basketball player would take 2 capsules a day and a 4'2" woman would take 2 capsules a day. Like, I did. I remember used to think about it, but dismiss it and think, oh, well, they know what they're talking about. I trust them because I trust that company. I trust them because I trust that name. I trust that brand. And as a practitioner, you look for the best brands and you trust them. But the one I did take, which was a really good brand, didn't work for me, and I should have been retested on it. So it's complicated but simple. So these are the different supplements we have. We have our balance test. We have our balance oil, which is the one that most people will take. You then move to the vegan oil. Obviously, that is for vegans and it is purely from the algae. However, I sometimes recommend when you're pregnant, because you want higher levels of DHA, I would say take the normal one day, the vegan oil one day, the normal one day, the vegan oil one day. For me, as a practitioner, when I'm working with pregnant women, that's what I like to say to them because I want them to get that extra DHA. It's totally up to you. I know there are certain people within Zinzino take the vegan oil anyway because they think it's better for them. So I think you can play around with that. And I think every time you do your second test, you can go, oh, okay, I might need to tweak that. Maybe I'll change. The Aquarex is if you've got, it's water soluble. So if you've got people who've got pancreas issues, gallbladder issues, uh, gastric issues, if someone's having trouble digesting, you might want to think about the Aquarex. But I'm not doing the biotic today, but you would also go slowly on the biotic. But the Aquarex is an option. You've got the Balance Oil Premium, which has the beautiful Revo oil in it, which is incredible. I use that on my face, to be fair, since Ruth Monroe told me to use that every night on my face. So that's my night cream with the skin serum. So it's got a higher level of polyphenols in it. I will come to that later. And then you've got your capsules, which is your Ascent Plus. Now, the Ascent Plus has the Revo in it. I'm pretty sure, unless anyone's going to correct me on that, I'm pretty sure it's got the better, what's the word? Olive oil in it. But they are brilliant. I use the Ascent when I travel, or if I'm going out somewhere and I don't want to carry a bottle of oil around. So I always have a box of, in fact, people, I've often got them stacked in my cupboard because I love them for when I'm doing that. So if anybody needs a box, I've generally got one somewhere. So they're the different options that we have, which I think is great. Not too many, enough to cover every single problem or angle that people are going to come at you with. We've then got why testing is important. Personalized insights. I mean, who wouldn't want to really understand themselves? Especially when you've got people like me who wants to know the nitty gritty. But we need to be somehow telling people how important that is. You do need to know inside. You need to know what you're doing. We haven't got, a gauge on us that says oil is low. We haven't got any of that. So the only way to do it is testing, and taking control of our own health means, we've got access to this. And this isn't super expensive at all. In fact, I put this quote on somewhere today, somewhere everywhere. But anyway, instead of saying that's too expensive, try saying my health is not worth that much. And if you look at it like that, it's like if someone says to you this is expensive, you're like, well, how much value is your health? Because I guarantee to you that in a few years' time, when you're of ill health, that's going to be really expensive. So why don't people put themselves first? Why don't they do that? We need to get that message across. Have some personalized insights into how your body's working. We can give precise nutritional interventions, but we can also say to people, we're limited a bit, so let's move you to other people with more knowledge if we're a bit stuck. It's based in science. I mean, this is the phrase everyone loves at the moment. If you can follow something with based in science, people love it. And they've really drilled down on this. They've really drilled down on everything about it, the test, the oil, how each one ingredient interacts, how they can deliver it in a system that works. And they're continuing to do that. So behind the scenes, while we're merrily out there chatting about this, they're still working on things. They're still trying to hone things. We have a brilliant science-based background behind us. And again, we need to get that message out there. Continuous monitoring. Personally, I like to try and test every 4 to 6 months, mainly because of my inability to absorb oil for some reason or use it in the wrong way. But I think this is going to be me for the future. If someone said to me now, would you like that handbag, that pair of shoes, that dress, or this every day, every time? I'm in my 50s. I'm like, I don't care about the handbag. You just give me tests. You make sure my body's working. I've got a grandson. I want to get older and I want to see him get older. So, yep, I'm good. But that's not how most people think. So we kind of have to be very gentle with people and just explain to them why it's so important. So continuous monitoring is good for us and it's good for the customers because they really need to understand that they need to keep a check on it. Okay, one tiny drop changes everything. One tiny drop of blood. There's a brilliant slide deck I've got somewhere, which is from Vitas, and it explains, it goes into a bit more science, but one tiny drop of blood at home on a little, as long as they remember to keep the code, on that little pad, off it goes. They analyze it. Vitas is an incredible lab. Their reputation, the people they deal with, which you can see there, all their official partners, and it's double blind and anonymous. But more importantly, they are the top of their field in the world, and we use them probably more than a lot of people. And we've done 1.3 million tests now. I think it's over that now. We are growing and we use the best. And that's what I like about Zinzino. There's no corners cut. We use the best. And I think, again, we need to be pushing those things. So questions to ask people. So does your omega-3 contain polyphenols? Polyphenols are vital. Polyphenols are the limousine. Omega-3 is Beyonce. Beyonce gets in the limousine goes to the concert. If she didn't have the protection of the limousine and the bodyguards, which are the polyphenols, she wouldn't make it to the concert because she'd be mobbed. So you've got to think they are vital and they stop oxidation. And in nature, so when you've got it in algae, it's got its polyphenols. Fish eats it. In the flesh of the fish, it's still got the polyphenols. The fish oil industry takes it out, and then it's just sat there, and then it can oxidize too easy. They pop it back with vitamin E generally, not the a really beautiful extra virgin olive oil. So the polyphenols are vital. So when people say to you, well, I'm on omega-3, does it contain polyphenols? Then does it contain synthetics such as gelatin? We never want anything synthetic going into our body because our body, it's not bioavailable. Our body struggles to absorb it. Yes, we live in a modern world and we're going to have to take on the chin. Sometimes we're going to take these things in. Yes, we have to choose our poison. We have to decide if we're going to do that. But we need a choice. And I don't think people understand this, and I don't think they're told this. So I think it's our duty, and as professionals, to give people this information and choice that actually they're not absorbing. And their body's then going to have to work out how they get rid of it. And that's going to put extra pressure on getting rid of the waste. We've then got, if you cut it in half, and so the old thing where you burp back fish, or you've got an oil and you go, oh my goodness, that's really fishy. And if most people cut their capsule in half, it will smell of fish. It has already gone rancid. So it is already not going to do the job it's supposed to do. So that's another important question to ask people. Has it got good levels of EPA and DHA? Do they even know what they are? Do they know why they're taking it? Part of our job is to educate. And that can be a bit frustrating because people don't want to listen, especially family and friends. So finding a way to communicate to people that you need the right levels of these in this supplement. And I always go back to, and I've been working with omega-3 for 35 years. It is not a supplement. It is a vital nutrient that we need to take in supplement form. It's not a supplement. We have to supplement it because we can't get it in our diet like we should, but it's not a supplement. It's not something that you can willy-nilly not bother with and then go, I might add that in. It has to be in your diet every day. So people need to understand why they need a good quality one, why they need to test to make sure it's working, why it needs good levels, and why it needs polyphenols. And then, is it getting absorbed? Are we absorbing it properly? How do we know? Well, we know because we've got the test. And again, we need to stress to people the importance of, well, retest. How many times have you had people go, I'm absolutely fine? In fact, our lovely Chris Fielding is one of them. He thought he was great and his test was really bad. mainly because he's a PT and he's doing a lot of exercise. He was eating well, but his body was just stuck in a constant inflammation because he didn't have the omega-3 to bring that down. He had all the accelerator and not the brake. So yet again, we need to somehow educate people. It's going to be an uphill battle. For those of you who aren't in the health industry or haven't been in the health industry, I have for like 35 years. It can be a bit like knocking your head against the wall. And you will get people rejecting it or blank. Often when people are really blank, it's because they kind of know it, but they don't want to admit it. And they'll probably come round in about a year. I don't know if Sandra's on the call, but I encourage her to do the test. And it took her a good 7 months to go, I'll probably need this. So, give the information. And it's something Kirsten said. He said, marry the process, divorce the outcome. As long as you stay true, give the information from a pure heart. Tell everybody what you know, but don't expect them to say yes and don't expect them to jump on board straight away. Most people don't, but that's not personal. Just kind of go, okay, I've done my bit and see what happens. Marry the process, divorce the outcome. Love that statement. So these are competitors. Now, Dr. Jenny Curtin did these. I'm in no way going to take credit for this because I can't do a spreadsheet or any of that stuff. However, you've got your comparison of the levels on your left. We have got these. If Jenny Simpson's on the call, she might be kind enough to either pop them in the power team, or pop them some in here if she's. I'm sure Jenny's there. She's always there. So these are the comparisons. Now the thing is, you might see down that the Omega Care has more EPA, but it doesn't have polyphenol. So it doesn't matter how much EPA it's got; it's not being absorbed. So each of these that I have tested, in 3 years, I've only had one person come in the right range. And bless him, I said, well, you can have your money back. But he didn't want his money back because he said, well, with Zinzino, I'm paying £40 a month. Before that, he was having to eat mackerel twice a day, and the capsules he was taking was 3 capsules a day, massive. He said, that was costing me like £150 plus a month, whereas I can get exactly the same from £40. So even if people come back with you with this, you can see the different levels. Zinzino's got brilliant levels in there. It has really drilled down on working out what levels it needs and how that levels can be absorbed. It doesn't need to go over the top because they're the right levels. Then you've got the price comparisons. Bare Biology is actually more expensive. But if you look at these prices, again, the price doesn't matter. Because if they don't work, it doesn't matter how much they cost. And if they're not testing and retesting, it doesn't matter how much they cost. So for me, this is great when you've got somebody that says, well, what about this? And what about this? You've got something to go, well, this is actually data, and this is data that's been collated, but does it even work? Do we know? And that's more important than anything in my book. Okay, so our competitors, no one can compare. I'm really sorry they can't. I haven't found one that can compare. Our 1.3 million database is there now, and we know, we've got the proof, we've got the before and after proof. We know. You've got the history, you've got 15 years of this company. If you talk to anyone who's been in this company a while, you know you can look back and you can see many years ago, when I think it's about the 50s, they first found out about the essential fatty acids and started working with it and started trying to understand it. And then you found they were honing it, and then the Cochrane report. And well, then of course the big industry came along, and the big industry was like, yeah, we're going to make money out of this and we're going to sell this. And then you've got the Cochrane report. And in that time, the science people behind, and Colin was trying to work out how you could actually get fish oil to work. He understood the Cochrane report and he was like, oh, how can I get this to work? And the clever scientists behind Zinzino had worked it out. So they've got the history of the company, which is a 15-year-old company. This isn't brand new. It might be brand new to England. You've got the history of omega-3, and you've got the way the science people have dealt with it. You've got our processes. They have honed these processes down. So the processes, the plant, the quality controls, the price point. Oh, actually, I'll come back to the price point. Processes, plant, quality controls. Over the years, and by analysing tests, they've bit by bit tweaked the oil. Each of the oil, the vegan oil's very much been tweaked. It's like, oh, that's not quite getting people in range. What do we do here? The fawn where they make it, apparently Dr. Cole was just blown away. They don't cut corners. They are really absolutely on it with this. And so the processes, the plant, the quality controls are incredible. Our price point. I mean, if you look at it, less than £1 a day, well, £1 a day, but the full health protocol is less than a coffee a day. So you could actually fix your health. You could create a blue zone in your body, less than a coffee a day. And I guarantee you, most people would absolutely want to. Sorry, my daughter just walked in. Most people would want to. What's the word I'm looking for? She's put me right off. She has have a blue zone.
You were talking about the blue zone in the body.
Have a blue zone in their body rather than a coffee a day. They should, because that is going to ward off ill health. It's going to ward off all the lifestyle diseases. So it's not expensive. The price point of Zinzino is not expensive if you explain to people about having it as part of their diet. It's part of your food bill. This is food in supplement form. And then you've got Vitas Lab. They don't use Vitas Lab. The competitors that I've seen, I will always stand corrected, but they don't use Vitas Lab. Okay, cod liver oil. This is the one we always get kind of hit with. The facts, it is different to fish oil. It comes from the livers of codfish. Now, personally, I know how hard their livers are having to work now because of the pollution, heavy metals, and everything that's in the seas. And if they're farmed, they're not getting the good quality. So the livers of codfish are not where I want to get my fish oil from. Atlantic and Pacific cod are most commonly used. And I know we all know about the amount of plastics that are in the sea now and the Atlantics. It does contain EPA and DPA, but not in the levels that we want. It does contain vitamin D and vitamin A, but there are no polyphenols. I haven't found one cod liver oil that is in a polyphenol delivery system. So as far as I'm concerned, when someone comes to me with cod liver oil, it's no comparison. And it's normally nowadays sold in capsule form. Our grandmas, our grandparents, that would have been very different. That would have been like a spoonful of cod liver oil. But now it's mainly capsules, which I'm not a great fan of, to be honest. I think the oil is much better, unless you get people that really can't take it, which there are those. Okay, this is massive about polyphenols, but basically they're natural antioxidants, commonly found in seafood, nuts and seeds, and particularly potent in olives. These are our antioxidants. I mean, especially any of us on the call that are older, you really want to make sure you're getting these antioxidants in. You really want to make sure your body is getting everything it needs to keep itself healthy and well and full of gorgeousness. Often overlooked in the fish oil industry, they are powerful micronutrients working in synergy with the omega-3 to slow down oxidation and optimize the absorption, offering long-term health benefits. If nothing else, that last paragraph is where you want to be looking at. Okay, so this is the oxidation chart. This is, I think it's in the presentation, one of the presentations, but we can all get this to you pretty easily. So it keeps the oil from oxidation, so going bad or rancid. It increases the absorption to your body. It stays fresh and potent in your cells, and it protects the body from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress can be from ultra-processed foods, highly processed foods, toxins that you're putting on your body, toxins in the environment, actual stress, emotional, physical, you name it. So we really need to give our bodies the nutrients to be able to fight all this. And this is what happens. So people often say about krill oil, well, it only lasts 5 hours, and that's not going to get to your cell. Concentrated omega-3, not going to get to your cell. Cod liver oil, not going to get to your cell. The scientists have worked really hard to work out how long they need to keep the oil good to be able to get to where it needs to get to. And there's a system where what they talk about now, where it's food to mouth, mouth to stomach, stomach to cells. And it's that stomach to cells that I believe, and I'm passionate about, is the Zinzino have got right. They know that they need to have these vital nutrients, have a process of getting where they need to get to. Zinzino olive oil. So the normal olive oil has 10 times the value of extra virgin oil. The Revo, which is what I use on my skin, and I have on food, please don't cook with it. It's far too beautiful. Just put it over salads. Please don't cook with it, or vegetables or whatever. But the Revo is 30 times the value of extra virgin olive oil. This is pretty special. What they've done with this olive oil is pretty special. So I think, again, that's underplayed a little bit, but it is incredible. And it is one of those things we should be shouting from the rooftops about how amazing it is. I flip between using the premium oil and the vegan oil and the normal oil, whichever I can do. I don't think the premium oil is pushed as much as it could be for people that, don't mind paying that extra bit, because I think the Revo is worth it. Okay. Why are we number one? We have the optimal omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Balance oil is formulated to achieve the ideal balance between omega-3 and omega-6. This equilibrium supports a healthy inflammatory response and overall wellness, distinguishing it as superior choice for nutritional supplementation. Polyphenol-rich olive oil. Balance oil includes cold-pressed olive oil rich in polyphenols, which act as powerful antioxidants. These polyphenols help protect the oil from oxidation, ensuring its freshness and potency over time, while providing additional health benefits such as cardiovascular risk. We all hear about the inflammatory problems we've got, all the lifestyle conditions, all the female health conditions, all the hormonal conditions, all the pain, and all coming from this blooming inflammation. Well, we've got the answer. High quality ingredients. We know we use high quality natural ingredients. And when we have something where there's not completely natural, that is explained. You can see the difference between Extend and Extend Plus if you listen to Katherine's presentation, and Marta explains why they have to use a couple of synthetics. But you don't have to have that. It's up to you. If you want to take that, you take that. They're just not bioavailable, and you don't absorb them as well. But we have premium fish, cold pressed. It's just, well, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. Okay, the balance concept is, I love that it's under there, is unique. So take a blood test before and after. Test, solution, retest. It's not rocket science. It's just too easy, really, to help yourselves and to help others. Test, solution, retest. We offer it all. And we offer support. I mean, what more can you ask for? So that's all there is for the actual presentation. Oh, good. I wanted to leave 20 minutes. We have 20 minutes. I am absolutely sure Kate will be bibbling around somewhere, and I will answer questions. Shall I read through the chat and see what questions we've got? Oh, thank you. So the Ascent Revo. Thank you, Jenny. Yes, exactly. And you can have 99 problems until you lose your health. I mean, it's just everybody worries about what they're spending now. But honestly, I work with sick people, not like sick, but I work with people who are poorly. They would give anything to go back in time and know how to prevent what's going on, as opposed to have to try and drag themselves out of the hole that they've got themselves into because they didn't have the knowledge. Doesn't mean they're going to accept the knowledge, doesn't mean they're going to necessarily listen to you. But if we can at least give them the knowledge, at least we can at least hand on heart go, I have done my best to make sure that person understands what's going on. I think we're halfway there then, aren't we? Yeah, there you go, there's Sandra.
Hey, Jackie.
So I think that's, if anybody, I can't really see the questions, and I feel a bit bad kind of just reading through the questions, but is there anything people want to ask or add on?
I think the first thing that I can see from the chat is the overwhelming thank you for a brilliant presentation, because I've got 2 pages of notes written down here.
Oh, good.
You just brought to life some basic information we get fed and given it some structure. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I wanted to make sure people could use it. I want people to walk away and be able to say it in a way that people can hear. It's one of my superpowers that I've tried to hone, is to hear the information, but be able to give it in a way that not normal people, but you know what I mean? People who aren't in this industry. So I hear this all the time. So when people say something, I go, oh yeah, that's incredible. Someone goes, oh, quantum physics. Oh yeah, that's incredible. But you wouldn't sit with one of my patients and go, let me tell you about quantum physics. And let me tell you about how putting quantum physics into water helps. They're going to go, what? They don't want to hear that. They want to know, how can it help me? And how can I hear this? And you will have to change your language for each person you work with. I find I do, because not everybody can hear the same sentence. And sometimes, especially family, you may have to say the sentence, I don't know, in Aborigine for them to hear it, because they're just not going to listen. But deliver the information and hope. I'm going to let you be my, Andrew, I'm going to let you be my question person. Because I can't.
I have gone through the chat, unless these last two come in. There's no actual, everyone was just thanking you all the way through the chat. I have kept an eye on it. Obviously some information about Revo. I don't know if you want to go a little bit more into that olive oil for people. It's not a product we talk about, but I've just learned we could be putting it on our skin. Makes sense.
Yeah, it was Ruth Monroe said about that. She said it's such a powerful product, an antioxidant. In fact, when we were in Mexico, Goril burnt herself, and she actually put the Revo on it, and it was the Germans. I'd hate to call them the Germans, but they apparently use it on their skin a lot, and they use it for burns because of the power of the antioxidants in it. So Ruth was like, "Well, this is a no-brainer to put it on your face." So I put it. As I said, I use the skin serum mixed with the olive oil and pop it on every night, and that's it. And when you think about how expensive skin creams are, and the Revo lasts a long time as a skin cream. I know it's expensive, but I don't think it's expensive for what it is. But it lasts a long time. But you think of what's in it. I mean, in the olden days, they were putting like beef tallow on their face. And, women didn't used to put these synthetic things on their faces all the time. We had nature, we had natural things. And we've always used some sort of moisturizing. Even like in farms, in the middle of the wilderness, women would have been using something. And they would, but also you've got to remember your skin's not going to look good if your insides don't look good.
Yeah,
So
cool. I think Sophie has a hand up there.
Yeah, I just want to add on that. So my daughter had molluscum. I don't know if anyone on the call knows what that is. And I used the Revo oil, and within a week, it was all gone.
Wow.
Honestly, it's a brilliant product that we don't talk about enough. And
Yeah.
I think we really should talk about it more, because it is a fantastic product. It is a fantastic thing they do. It's not just an olive oil. It's not just something to have on your breakfast bar. It's not something, it's a really good quality product. And the nutrients you're going to get from it, it's just going to help heal your body. And that's what we're about, healing our bodies inside out.
It's lovely on
Can I
food.
just second that on the mollusk, however you pronounce it, so because my kids had it and I could never get rid of it. They had it ages ago, and then they had it again, and they gave it. I got it as well, and I don't. If you remember, Jackie, I had this awful mark on my chest here. Couldn't get rid of it. Thought I'll just try Revo. Honestly, no joke. Within a couple of days, it was gone. So I'm all about that, and the skin serum as well combined.
I've just seen Katie's like, I can't get Revo. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Katie.
We'll get it there eventually. I know it's starting to open up. I had a conversation through somebody with Robert Hawkins in Australia, and I think it's going to open up a bit more. I think they're getting there. It's just all their little regulations, isn't it? Which is a shame.
I love it on, like you said, on salads, Jackie. It's excellent. You can't half taste that difference, or what difference it makes to salads. And my kids love it on them. I put it on their pasta as well. It's just brilliant.
It does make me a little bit deranged, though, if I ever see anyone try and put it in like a frying pan. My children, I'm like, no, stop.
I have one question, Jackie. If you could just articulate a little bit more about bioavailable, how do we bring that into a conversation with a potential customer? So
what you want in the olden days, here we go, this is the best one. If we went outside and ate a leaf, our body would go, I don't really like it, but I recognize it, because humans and leaves have been around thousands and thousands of years. If you put a bulking agent into your body, which is chemically made and a synthetic, it goes in and the body goes, don't really know what that is. You're trying to make me better, but I don't really understand you. So the body's a very old system that doesn't understand these new things. And because it doesn't understand it, and bioavailability means when it goes in the body, when it goes in the mouth, when it gets to the stomach, it's available. The body can use it straight away. If it's synthetic, one, it can't really use it that well. And two, it means your kidneys and liver have to work harder to process it. So what you want is natural bioavailability. You want to make sure what you're putting in your mouth is something that has been able to be eaten for thousands and thousands of years, at least the last, after 150 years ago. But the modern stuff, the way it's produced, the way it's, the way people have tried to make the cheaper product means your body can't use it because it's not bioavailable. So if somebody says to me, well, I've got these supplements, and I'm like, yeah, they're great, but they're not bioavailable, then your body will not be able to use them straight away. And that's what you want.
Yeah, I've always talked to people about what was in other products, but I've never used the word bioavailable. So that's I've got lots of wins today, but that's one of them.
Good.
Any other questions for Jackie? We have somebody who's got 3 years experience with Zinzino here. So what else would you like to ask Jackie? It can be off piece. It doesn't just have to be about.
Yeah, it can be off piece. I don't mind.
Yep. Feel free to throw something in the pot while we have her attention. Oh, is Lisa coming off? Yeah, here we go, Lisa.
What was your quote again, Jackie? Because I love your
I have put it on Power Team.
Have you?
Yeah, but don't worry.
Marry.
Instead of saying that's too, oh, the other one. Oh, no, that's not mine, that's Kirsten's. And I think he got it from somebody else, but I do love it. So marry the process, divorce the solution. No, was that right? Marry the process.
The outcome. You said divorce the outcome before.
Marry the process, divorce the outcome. So as a practitioner, my process is to give treatment, give advice, give knowledge. It's not my job to make the outcome happen. That's their job. Mm-hmm. So I can't make anyone do anything. I can just hand on heart give. I can say to people, well, this is what I believe. This is what I know. This is what my experience is. Here you go. But if I'm going to get upset every time a patient of mine who might be diabetic, who then goes and eats a cake straight after my treatment, I'm going to be on a loser, because I can't make them not do that. I can only give the information. So divorce the outcome, because that's not down to you. And it's quite arrogant of us to think and egotistical to think we can be that for somebody. Mm-hmm. If somebody's not ready to do it, they're not ready to do it, and that's their thing. And then I'll be there to support them until they're ready to do it. So we just have to make sure when we're giving information, we're not putting pressure on them. We're actually saying, there you go, that's for you. Yeah. And give it with good grace. And if they don't want it, as long as they're not rude to us, which is quite, it's not always easy, and you will find that. But if, just give a good grace and see what they do. We've done what? How many thousands of tests in Britain? Is it like 20,000 or something ridiculously low?
Is it only around 20,000? Yeah.
How many million are in England?
70 plus now.
So, if somebody's not ready to listen, there's plenty of people out there that hopefully will listen. And I think also you've got to think we should be targeting people who are already talking to people who are already on supplements, talking to people who are already in it, because they don't even know they're not taking the right thing, but they've got an interest. Mm-hmm. If you're going to somebody who eats 3 McDonald's a day and sits on the sofa, that's a massive ask. But if you're going to somebody that's half in it, that's not quite so big an ask. Well, unless they're digging their heels in.
So obviously, Katie has sent us the information. 22,700 tests in the UK, which is very small. Steve, have you got your hand up to ask a question or give us some knowledge?
Well, possibly, I don't know, a bit of both, perhaps. A funny story. I was in hospital 2 days ago, only because I've gone away from home and I forgot my insulin. I had to get an emergency prescription. I can tell you, if you hang around in the hospital between 9 o'clock at night and 1 p.m. in the morning, you can sell balance oil, because preventive medicine, people just, to prevent health is the best way forward, right? It's absolutely no brainer, but we have this mentality of I'll fix it when it's broken. And in there I had a captive audience. So I came away with 2 sales in the hospital. which is quite funny, really.
Please say you stood up and did a
So-
presentation to the whole waiting room.
How many bottles did you sell?
I
Steve?
was so two. I was so tempted to do a presentation, but people are interested in the fact when you have this sort of real captive audience. I am not well right now, so I'm ready to listen. So if we can get that across, you know, when people are well, then we're doing our job. Bottom line is nobody likes to be sold to. You know, your best friends and your family just go to you, Steve, I hear what you're saying, but you're just trying to sell to me. You know, you're in this business, and it's getting past that. It's getting past that that's the key, because we can have all this knowledge, which we're all having. This is so vital. Today was just exceptional, so vital. So thank you, Jackie.
I would just like to
But
share
now we've got to get it across with passion.
You okay now, Steve? You said you were in hospital. You're all right now, obviously, looking at you and coming out.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, I'm good. There's a bit more funny stuff to follow, but I'll leave it because I'm running out of town. But yeah, I'm fine.
He's feeling great. He's done 2 sales.
Amazing. I have a little note I think is really lovely to hear. I have a friend who is on Zinzino, the whole health protocol, is in hospital for a high level of ferritin, been to the doctors of a high level of ferritin, just got back. He's testing me for what I have the same thing by chance. So she was asking me about it.
Oh,
He was
Andrew's frozen.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, that's better. You froze.
Okay. So my friend was at a GP. She has high ferritin. I also have high ferritin and have diagnosed with hemochromatosis. She now has the same, which is just a bit peculiar. He was checking everything she was taking, and she said, just got back from the GP. He is testing me for what you have. He was also made up with Zinzino. He Googled it, loved what he saw. That's a GP. Woo!
Yes, these are the wins we need. And we're getting them. We are starting to get them. We are starting to get people really value what we're doing. And I go back to based in science. These aren't people just messing around. These aren't scientists for profit. They are sitting there really trying to work out the tiny little synergistic detail between these different products and supplements to make them work. And back to, we don't do supplements. We do food in supplement form. We do bioavailable nutrients in supplement form. It's bridging the gap. We're not, none of us in Zinzino are saying, oh, you don't have to eat healthy food, just take these. We're saying, please eat a healthy, nutritious diet. But because we know how adulterated our food is, we need to bridge the gap with this and make sure we're reaching all of our nutritional needs. And that's what we ultimately want. I mean, go back 200 years ago, we might have been hitting it, but we're not. And we're not going to, while the food industry still has the power and control it has to be producing foods that are, quite frankly, for profit and not health. So we have a battle, but we're based in science. We have a science background. And Dr. Rizzo, who did the dry blood spot test, who, if you ever look at her story, she basically, I think it might have been around lockdowny time, I don't know. But basically, she was fed up with people having to come in and have blood drawn. And so she developed the dry blood spot test, the Trondheim lipid blood spot test, to make it easier for everybody. So we have this beautiful, easy test as well, which I think is great, which tells us so much information and really isn't that expensive.
And Jackie, if we can, before we finish, I would just like to do a little shout out for the next training session, which is partner build and grow training at 12 p.m. So if people have enough time to jump on to the next training session, which starts at 12 o'clock.
Well, we can just stop recording this and then Kate can jump on and we can start the next one, can't we? And anyone that has to leave, obviously leave. There she is.